Yes, sir. Can you tell us your name and your profession?
My name is Nick Út. I work for Associated Press in Saigon 1966 until 1975.
What did you do in NASA?
Oh, after my brother was killed in 1965, my brother, he the AP photographer. And he was killed in Mekong Delta in 1965. He the Vietnamese actor and photographer for CBS and AP. When he was killed in 1965, and I thousand journalists in Vietnam for the funeral for my brother. Then
What was his name, sir?
Huỳnh Me. And after the funeral for my brother, then January 1966, I asked get a job for AP. I said, Nick, you're too young. I don't think we give a job for you. We keep calling him like 3-4 times again. And say, okay, come in.
How old was you at that time?
I'm almost 16, very young. Then because that's why AP don't want to be a photographer, he's too young. And hot fought my boss. He said, oh, Nicky, I love your family. Okay, come on, work for AP.
What made you feel why you love photography that much?
My brother, he the best AP photographer who was in Vietnam. I look picture almost every day, beautiful picture. And my brother hit the war. He don't like war. He show a picture every day. He told me a story. Hope someday he had one picture stop the Vietnam War. But he come home, he showed a picture. He why my sister-in-law and me. Every time I come home, show all picture dead body under the South Vietnamese or American. And I remember October 13, my sister-in-law and her family, we play car at home on the Trần Hưng Đạo Street near Nancy Chalon. One AP messenger comes here. He cried and said, oh, your brother was killed. He died. We all cry, everything, Then after that, AP people come and my boss come and say, sorry, here your brother went and me died in Mekong Delta. And like 3 days, 100 people come my house and say, sorry for my brother. And a big funeral from Nancy walked from there to Củ Chi, like 1,000 people, all famous photographers and TV like Dan Rudder, World Conca, everybody there. I remember. And after funeral, then like a month, I look for a job AP, and they hire me. They hire me not photographer, for darkroom. I work in the AP darkroom almost 3 months. I learned a lot of darkroom, become photographer. Because in Vietnam, you don't have any journalist school or class for journalists. That's why I learned so good in the AP, because the picture war every day. And I learned so fast. And I remember anti-war in Saigon everywhere. Then one Buddhist monk burning in near An Pagoda. He is dead, but not one look. And my hot fast said, Nicky, go to take picture, the monk burning. That's my first picture, my job, the first time. Then I come back, I show my picture next day, the front page newspaper. That's why it pushed me to become photographer. And every day I was shooting until 1968. I'm a Viet Cong actor, American Embassy Saigon. I travel everywhere, from Chalon, outside Saigon. Then that time I become a comeback photographer. I travel to Cambodia, Laos, all over Vietnam.
So you
until
think
1975.
So you think that being a photographer changed your life?
I think photography changed my life, but sometimes very dangerous. I under retire. I get shot with Hitler. Remember the first in Cambodia, I hit my stomach. And the second one, after the picture Kim Phuc 1972, like 3 months later, I go back to her village again. Then I step in the Cao Pagoda, first mortar hit right, the Cao Dai temple. Then I don't feel nothing yet. I look at my camera, the hole everywhere, and my clothes. Then after you see the hole, then you feel you get under. I hit the one right here, my leg still here. Then I spent in hospital like 1 month. And I don't like to stay home too long. I want to go back shooting again. Then I travel in Cambodia again. Another get shot in Cambodia in my arm. My leg like really tight. So, very dangerous. A lot of close call. I think I'm died or maybe I'm lucky to alive.
So you shoot a picture that shook the world and very much have a lot of thing to contribute to ending the war in 1975. Can you tell your story? Why you was there? How? What did you see and how you got that picture? Can you share?
And I work for AAP, very busy for the journalist. I travel all those Central Vietnam, Binh Hai, the DMZ, or Ho Chi Minh Trail. And the picture, you remember 40 years ago, we shot film only, not digital camera. And you had to carry like almost 100 roll of film. And 3 or 4 cameras. I had 2 Leica, 2 Nikon, and sometimes long lens. And travel with them South Vietnamese soldiers or U.S. Marine soldiers. Take a helicopter every day in the Hamburger Hill. I see it happen every day. The dead bodies, heavy fighting. Either B-52 rubber bomb, too close. My body is sometimes shaking, but it's like either mind or way, your body is shaking. And so lucky for me, my life. And Unit 1972, when I hear a story about fighting Trang Bang Viet, first friend of mine, he worked for NBC News. I remember he named Nghĩa. He told me like 3 p.m. evening. He said, Nick, why you go Trang Bang? The Viet Cong locked down Highway 1. A lot of bomb there. And I told him, maybe I go there tomorrow morning. Then in the morning, I left the AP office like 7 in the morning. And the Trang Bang, not too far from Saigon, only 25 miles west of Saigon. The time I'm there, and I saw a lot of the black smoke bomb outside the County Temple all the morning. Then I stopped my car there, with the driver, stopped my car there, almost like about 250 yards from the pagoda. Then I walked with the South Vietnamese soldier, 25th Division. Them there to not too far from pagoda, like another half mile. A lot of heavy fighting with the Viet Cong and the South Vietnamese. I took a lot of pictures, dead body, both sides. Then I said, oh, I had a good picture really. I don't want to stay too long because it's a little bit rainy. Then I back to Highway 1 again. Then I saw almost noon. I saw the South Vietnamese army. He threw the smoke grenade. When the grenade, yellow smoke coming up like eye bomb, and you hear the two airplanes coming, air drive. Then I told Nick, a friend of mine, he worked for the Viet New cameraman, say, maybe last picture before we go back to Saigon. We don't want a sniper shooting. Then I shot A-37 diving, dropped 2 bombs first, bomb explosion. And another, like 2 minutes, you hear the A-1 Skyrider, they dive and drop the 4 napalm, the bomb napalm go down, 4 bombs, and bomb explosion. Then I said, oh my God, good picture. I look for my camera, you find it with my long lens. I said, oh, good picture. I wish I had my black and color film, not black and white film. Then I hold my hand right here. I hope no one in Viet, because they all left morning already. I saw 1,000 people really leaving Viet. I don't believe anyone in there. I know that the North Vietnamese Viet Cong anti-aircraft shooting this airplane. After the bomb, like minutes, I saw a few people running. Then I said, oh my God, people still there. Then not a minute, you see the grandmother carry a little baby. She's running, she's got help for my child, she's running. and about almost 50 yards, she stopped right, or the cameraman, no, photographer right away.
Sorry.
Stop. The grandmother hold a 1-year-old boy, the baby. She called her, help for my child. And she kept running. You see the arm and the leg, skin come off. You know, the body burned so badly. And she stopped right the camera, and everyone took a picture. The boy and the grandmother. The mother, she screaming, so my child died. Then when I hold my camera, I took a picture of the, when she looked at the body of the little boy. And I looked at the camera temple in my viewfinder, my Leica, and I saw Kim with her arm running. I run inside the car right away. I keep taking picture of her, a lot of photo. And she kept running. When I saw her the back, her body burned so badly, then I know she be hurt bad. I don't want she die. I know she be die. Then I said I better stop. I don't want to take more picture of her. Then I put all my camera gear to Highway 1, all my phone camera gear. First I went to a friend of my BBC Neil, a couple of friends, try to help her with the water, you know. And the more people after they all leaving, only me there, and with my driver. And I know she be died because so hot. Either South Vietnamese soldiers, they all running. Then I saw one man with the white clothes, pyjama. She walked come hold my hand that I remember called ông ơi, please help all the children. Then I hear he say that, and I say yes, I will take all the kids come to my van. First thing I had rent car to cover Kim's body and bring her in my car. But she had to sit on the like this in the car. She got to sit like that in the back because of the body's skin. And her brother named Tom. And Kim keep say anh Tom chắc anh chết, I need water, I'm khát nước. And keep bringing all the kids, in the van. But from the Caudai to the Cu Chi hospital, traffic because a lot of convoy from the South Vietnamese army and almost like 3 o'clock evening. And I've been there almost over an hour at the Cu Chi hospital, but you don't want to help Kim because a lot of the South Vietnamese wounded soldiers and the people. And the hospital, the small one, local, they don't have enough medical to help her. They asked me if she needed to transfer her to Saigon. But I told them, if we transfer her, she be die, not an hour or 2 hours, she be die, Then I so upset to the hospital. I showed my media pass, say, oh, please help her, she wounded so badly. Then when I showed my media pass, they bring her inside with our children. Then I left. I left there because I know I really have one bring her to the hospital. They help her. I don't know what I do, anything, Then I went back to Saigon, do all my film, the love film. When I finished all that, the picture of New York or picture of Kim Phuc run everywhere, newspaper and TV everywhere in the world. Then I go home. After that I go home because my boss and Nicky go home. You go back tomorrow morning again. I went back to Trang Bang in the morning again like 7 o'clock. Still a lot of white smoke in the smell of napalm. And first I see one woman and the man running, hold hand like this, look for her daughter. Her father and mother keep looking for her. And I told, I call her back and see in the hospital right now. I took a picture and see in the hospital right now. She cried. I remember it took Lampeta, small Lampeta. Saigon Lampeta, chở khách đó Lampeta. Then she go to Cu Chi, and I stayed there at least for 3 hours and interview the South Vietnamese Army commander, Colonel Trang Bang too, and you met her in LA, and I talked to what happened that day, and they said a lot of Viet Cong and the North Vietnamese fighting with the South Vietnamese. They locked down over 2-3 days. Then I spent almost like half day in the Trang Bang, take a lot of picture because the big story about the napalm. In America, they want go back, keep shooting more story. Then I worry about her. I don't know. We check, make sure she in Saigon hospital, but Kim she transferred to Saigon after that. The big hospital, and I know she's still alive after. I worry a lot. I worry about Kim, and you don't know 24 hours what happened to her because her skin, her body is so bad that day. I don't think he's still alive that day.
And can you tell your name and what are you doing now?
My name is Phan Thị Kim Phuc. So what I'm doing now, I am the president of the Kim Foundation International. Our mission, we want to help children who are victims of war around the world.
Good afternoon. Can you tell us what is your name and what is your profession right now?
My name is Kim Phuc Phan Thị. Right now I am as a president of the Kim Foundation International. And then I also a Goodwill Ambassador for UNESCO for the culture of peace.
What is that Kim Phuc Foundation does?
It is the Kim Foundation International. Our mission is to help the children who are victims of war around the world, and also the children who are underprivileged around the world. We focus on building the hospital and the school for the children.
We listening to Mr. Nick Út about the story, your story. How can you recall during that time what you were doing before your village was bombed and caused all the damage?
I remember I was just 9 years old. I just finished my 3rd grade and I just turned 9. So I remember my village never happened the war before, but that in June 8. So I remember when the Viet came over and they wanted to occupy our village. So my mom knew that is the war will come. So she asked all the children, all the family, moved to the temple, hiding in there, because we thought the temple was a holy place, it's a safe place. But unfortunately, in the wartime, nowhere is safe, right? So I remember we hiding in the temple for 3 days with South Vietnamese soldiers. They protect us there with some more villagers. Then on the 3rd day, after lunch, I remember we, as a children, we not allowed to play far away from the bomb shelter. So we just allowed to play very close of bomb shelter. So I remember I heard the noise of the burning, the tree, the house. It's a little bit far away from the temple, not inside temple area. So we finished lunch, and then the South Vietnamese soldiers, they saw the color mark. The color mark were dropped into the temple area. That means they indicated the temple was going to be bombed. So that's why all the children was called by the soldiers. They say, "Oh my goodness, we have to run out of that place, of this place, because that will be very dangerous." So they asked the children run first, and then the others followed with the belonging, with the babies. And so I was one of the children, and we ran first, and then I really remember when I just ran just in the front of the temple, and I saw the airplane so quick, and then I didn't know why I just stood there and then I look at that the airplane. So I saw I saw it with 4 bombs and landing like that, and then I heard the explosion, that not a huge explosion like a different another bomb, but like boop 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 boop.
Mr. Nick Út, your picture contribute a lot to end a bloody war in Vietnam. How do you feel about that? Can you share?
You know, after the picture, we AP from Saigon sent to Tokyo, to New York, and in New York, Mr. Harville, he directed AP in New York. They called Saigon right away. Saigon, you know, like my boss hold fast, say good job. They never see pictures, you know, Napalm, or the Vietnam War, one of the best photo in Vietnam, the picture. And they call Saigon, see the picture front page everywhere in the war. TV, they call AP, picture all over China, Russia, and Cuba, you know. And after picture, next 2 days, the anti-war surveillance in Japan, United States, and London, Paris. Like town people protest, and outside the White House. That's why I remember Richard Nixon say that the fake photo, the picture came not a napalm, that picture by cooking oil, and she burned by cooking oil. If the bomb napalm, she will die. There's no way that the napalm rubbed in the village, but you know, she's still alive. I remember after the picture Kim Phuc out, you know, transmit in Japan, New York, when New York received photo, and one AP director in New York, How Bill, called Saigon. I said that picture for all over the world. Next day, you know, and anti-war about the picture, anti-war by Vietnam, and the picture, big protest. And I remember they called Saigon. The picture, Richard Nixon had a press conference. He said, that picture fake photo, not the napalm. She burned by, if she napalm, she will die. That's the picture, maybe cooking oil, you know, by cooking oil, not no way in the napalm. Then NBC News had a short picture when the airplane dropped the bomb. And I remember again Westmoreland had a press conference in Florida. They said their staff report him, said that cooking oil, not napalm. He said sorry after, but too late. Then I said, Kim, she's still alive. I remember when the press conference said, Kim, she's still alive, she's still in Vietnam. But, before 1989. And they had a press conference about the picture. Then the picture talked about Watergate or finding out about Kim Phuc.
So, of course, nobody like war. War happened in Vietnam brutally, kill many people, destroy many things. But the war ended the way it was. Also, was not a good thing for many Vietnamese, because after the war, many people were also put in prison, or they ran out of the country by boat and they died on the ocean and everything. What is your thought on that?
You know, I travel a whole country almost every day. I saw people die everywhere, either from Saigon to the Trang Bang Highway 1 or the Củ Chi, Ho Nghĩa, when a dead body they bring on the highway. I feel sad. I say, I hope this picture will stop the war, one day. Then 1972, I had a picture of Kim Phuc. I'm so happy. The picture really stopped the war because of photo. So tragedy. All children run on Highway 1. And I continue travel shooting photo until 73, North Vietnamese attack over Vietnam. One tree, Trung Loc, An Loc, and central Vietnam. And Cambodia fought by the Khmer. And I know Vietnam something happened right away. And we lost Ba My Thos. That time I traveled the highland, town refugee. I saw them die every day in central highland, Pleiku, Compton. Then I went back to Saigon again and went to the Trung Loc, An Loc, very close. I said that Vietnam must be finished soon because of war. Then AP called. We had meeting. The AP staff had to, all the staff to report AP Vietnamese. They had to leave country. I don't want to leave because I want to take a lot of pictures. I traveled to Cam Ranh Bay, Dalat. I saw town about people at camp everywhere in Vietnam. Then I had to leave until April 27. AP pushed me had to leave in the country. I went to the Tanchinic airport with flight with C-130, C-141. With all Vietnamese staff work for the American company. Then I become a Vietnamese refugee, the camp in the Philippines, Guam, Cameron. Then I spent over a month refugee in Cameron. Then after that, then AP give me a job, transfer to Japan. 2 years. I always think about Kim Phuc. I wonder how I melt to her. I know she's doing Saigon. I remember CBS do 60 Minutes, tell a story about her. I know that I want to read it. In Japan, I really want to go see Kim so much. And I don't have any American passport, only an American refugee travel document. But you're hard to travel. Then one day, 1989, I remember 84, I hear Kim Phuc leaving the Vietnam treatment to Germany. I think 84. I remember that. Then I know Kim, she's still in Saigon. I saw the picture, AP moved a picture of her in Bangkok, fly to Germany. And I am so happy, I want to see her. And I told AP, I said, I want to go see Kim, I want to go back to Vietnam. Then 1989, I had an assignment to back to Vietnam. I went back to China right away. First story, I see Kim family, and he told me Kim is in Cuba. But I know really Kim in Cuba because AP had a picture of her in Cuba before 89. Around 89. And the time Saigon and AP asked me, LA Times asked me, say, Nikki, we want your story in LA Times magazine. They want send me Cuba to see Kim. Almost 17 years later, I met her again in Cuba the first time. I'm so happy see her. First I saw Kim, I don't believe her. Oh my God, she's tall, not like little girl. I remember when I picture her. When I see her, she looked like, oh my, I hold my hand. Oh my God, she's like big Hollywood. She's tall, beautiful. I remember she's smiling and walking outside the hotel. And she called, Uncle Nick, that's you. Uncle Nick, she with my hand just like, I'm a short guy, not tall, I remember she hold her hand like this. Uncle Nick, that's you, And I really so happy see Kim in 89. And after that, she get married and, and I know I really want to see Kim often.
I think your picture did wonderful thing for a lot of people, including Kim Phuc. If Kim Phuc didn't see you at that time, she may get burned, and so maybe she didn't get to hospital. Maybe she died a year later. looking back into the war, can you tell me about your thought about the war, especially the involvement of the American in Vietnam?
You know, I travel a lot to play American fighting all over. Hamburger Hill, Doctor, Playmill, the big heavy everywhere. I see it happen every day. You know, the American soldiers, hundreds of them die. Vietnamese too. You know, both sides. Either Viet Cong or not Vietnamese. So sad, so short when you go travel, take a picture. The picture almost a dead body every day I see them, you know. But like Kim Phuc, the all children on the highway, she's trouble, you know. They innocent, they run on the highway. I know Kim her, the victim, the bomb, the Napalm, and if I don't help her that day, I think she died. I sure 100% she died. Because outside Trang Bang, you know, the June so hot. Either after raining, very hot that day. And more people, they are on media or shows or live in village. I you know, I want to help her. Either I had a picture of Kim that day. If I don't help her, I be trouble. You know, one day the people asking Nikki why you don't help the little girl who we see. If she die, something like that, I will kill myself. Like the guy photographer Cherry Carter in Africa picture little bird waiting, you know, and a lot of people complain about the picture. Then he killed himself. Same thing like me, you know. That's why the story about me and Carter about a photo, you know. They asked me, say, why you don't help little boy? Why Nick bring the Kim Phuc to hospital? Why you do that at him, like him? You know, I really am so happy to have Kim that day, really.
My next question would be, have you ever do any story about boat people?
Yeah, I cover a lot of boat people living, you know, left from the Da Nang, Haivan before 75. I fly with the all Americans TWA, and sometimes with the American airplane, try to pick up either helicopter, pick up a refugee on the Haivan and Tiwa. I remember with the helicopter, with all the kids in the helicopter, and the Viet Cong, North Vietnamese keep shooting helicopter when we come to pick up a refugee. And I look for the town, people die on the highway from Tiwa to the beach. And a lot of people die because of no food in the water. And every time helicopter landing, and all Vietnamese soldiers and refugees raptors, you know, then they fell after too. I had a lot of pictures that day. And the picture, I have beautiful short photo of little kid, like little girl, like I think 3-year-old girl. And she lost her parents by herself. One of Vietnamese gunner hold her in a helicopter. So I want to see her. I took a picture, beautiful photo. I went back to Vietnam many times and look for this girl. She now at least about 35 years old. I want to help her. You know, she lived in Tiwa, I remember. But I travel everywhere, like unclothed. Town, Vietnamese refugees right from the Đà Lạt, keep going to Định Quán, Xuân Lộc, from there to Biên Hòa. So many people die. That happened. And from there, I fly to Cameron Bay. I saw refugee boats keep going China Sea. Big up a town refugee. I saw many shots. And the picture I took in Trường Sơn, big boat, like carried about 30,000-40,000 Vietnamese refugees. I have beautiful picture. I have here, and I want to show you later the picture.
But have you do any story about boat people after 75 who ran out of country by boat?
Yeah, I call, when I in Japan, I call a lot of refugees from Japan
Oh, I see.
and United States. I spent over 30 years in LA, then I took a lot of refugees, all over the world. They come and become U.S. citizen, U.S. citizen later, or refugee. And I a lot of story about refugee in America, like 30 years ago.
The war ended. Are you happy with the outcome of the war?
I'm really so happy because I know that, war really too long. I see it happen every day. People die every day, and I going back. I go back to like Central Vietnam. I walk around one tree till Lord landmine. I remember I went to Hanoi near Hòa Bình, then near Hanoi airport. The woman have 4 children, and the 4 kids pick up the one small bomb, they call CBU, the town bomb, small one, and they 4 children they throw like tennis ball, they throw it and the bomb explosion, and 2 of them die, and 2 in hospital. I cry a lot. I said, what happened? 25 years later, people die by bomb. I cry myself. I see it happen almost when I did assignment in Vietnam. I went Central Vietnam, One Tree, Dong Ha, landmine over everywhere. And during the war, American left behind, so many landmine, bomb over. That's why a lot of kids, the farmers step in the bomb explosion.
So what about people who are thinking they cannot live under the government, communist government, and some of them were put in prison for 20-some years, and some die in the prison. You know anything about story like that? What do you think about that?
I'm shocked. I had a lot of friends of mine, they officer Vietnamese, they died in the camp, and I had a lot of stories. Some that kept, like to Cambodia, and they come to the United States. They in jail many years. Even my family, I have my brother in jail for 10 years. And, my cousin, they died in the camp, because they are Vietnamese officers. And so sad, a lot of people die. And only one angry, why the war over, so many Vietnamese officers had to go to camp and in jail by the government. I'm back in Vietnam many times, only Vietnam, win the war, but only one thing, why did they do that? Or former South Vietnam.
I see. And if you want to tell Miss Kim Phuc, the one who rescued and did wonderful thing for her, what you tell her?
I really so happy see Kim still alive. That's all I tell, because I remember that happened that in Napalm that day. I don't believe she's still alive. I don't believe that. Terrible that day. This is Viet Cong locked down almost 3 days in the village, but her village always fighting. Really, I take her to the hospital that day, and 3 weeks later, I get shot near her house. I get hit by rocket near her. When I'm lucky to alive, almost died. And because Viet Cong across Cambodia, from there, Highway 1, Highway 13, Củ Chi, everywhere. And always fighting. Every time I hear Trang Bang, I worry about her family. Like parents, the father, mother. And when I took picture of Kim, I always visit, village. Either Kim not home. And her house destroyed, completely destroyed by bomb. I remember when she come home first time, walk with her father, and she then look for, her house destroyed or the bomb. But Kim always smiling, but she's smiling, see her inside, It's very soft. I look at her, and I don't think she remember me that time. She like over 9 years old, almost 10, when after the first time she come home. And I had a picture of her together, there with her, and most her family, her brother, who I am there at that time. And, very sad. I went back to the village 3 months ago, like her cousin, family you know. And some people till night met they opened a coffee shop. Either Kim family had a small restaurant vừa có bún bánh canh Trang Bang, and they had a picture of her in video on TV, and so many tourist people want to visit the famous place, Robert Napalm. They come her family, you know, they talk about sister-in-law, yeah, sister-in-law, and you know, people look at her picture. And I remember I'm there. There's a lot of Japanese and Germany tourists go. They want to be wear history in 1972 in the village. Then I see her cousin, family member. I took a picture 3 months ago, and they too shocked. I mean, they tell me a story. Every time airplane or helicopter fly over Trang Bang, they worry not of bomb because they all 9 meters now. They like over 50. The picture, the woman with the boy running, the sister and brother. I saw her a couple months ago. Then they tell me a story. They say, Uncle Nick, oh my God, I remember that unit 1972. I run with Kim, and some people run left and right. A lot of people, you don't know how the bomb is firing, you know, they keep running. Mm-hmm.
So if you have anything that I haven't asked but you want to share with the viewer about Vietnam War, about your life, about your picture, about your war.
Yeah, I covered the war 1966, 65. I saw it happen every day. Really, for me, I really so happy the war in, because I don't want anyone more people die. I went back to Vietnam. The people, big welcome. You know, very friendly. I know for me, I know another person, but Vietnam changed a lot today. Not like 10 or 15 years ago. It changed, and I travel now. Nobody asked me where you go. I remember you fly to Vietnam. They check you to where hotel you stay. But they all now, more easy now travel Vietnam. That only happy for me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time.
Thank you.
And your contribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.